Hello and welcome. This here video, I am Jimmy B, the Rambling Philosopher, and I had an interesting thought I don't know, week or so ago, on the similarities, the connectedness between wokeness and religion. So, usually, start with a definition, especially in a term so widely used, essentially to the point where it means very little. Uh, I will get to eventually sort of like the two main criteria, if you will. We'll get there. We'll fill it in at the end. We'll backfill it. We'll circle around. We'll fix it in post. Uh, the first of all is very dogmatic wokeness and religion. There are just things that you have to believe are true, otherwise you are not an adherent. Uh, Both of them attempt to deal with sort of the fundamental question or questions. Um, what do you do? How do you do it? Why do you do it? How do you be a good person? Uh, you know, the basics. Uh, there's also a lot of very interesting communal consequences. Turns this is sort of a purely societal phenomena. Um, it has very profound implications in terms of being in close proximity to human beings who are the apex predator. Uh, don't ever forget it. Uh, so you're walking down the street. Hey, is this random person just gonna kill me and take my stuff? And now it's their stuff. And both of them take on a level of emotional significance, which elevates them to being very, very important in people's lives. Uh, I definitely share in the Jordan Peterson analysis of the Bible and I guess religion, Christianity more specifically. Absolutely fascinating take. No one at any point in my entire life had ever said anything that made religion make sense, even one iota. It was as opaque to me as anything could be. And then, like, within the course of a minute or two, it was just like, wait, what? And then, like, at the end of the video, it's like, wait, am I a Christian? Like, what the hell just happened here? Like, what the? So, essentially, he views it from well, he's a behavioral psychologist, so he views it as a behavioral psychologist. Uh, and when you do that, you end up with a fascinating perspective, which illuminates a tremendous amount of information contained within the Bible. Uh, and it does that with stories. You know, you've got uh, almost nothing but stories of people dealing with other people and trying to analyze how do people act in a given system. Um, Very interesting question. Uh, so the fundamental starting point of wokeness is uh, the concept of good and bad. So this is as close as I'm going to get to a definition. This is the logic that you must apply as an adherent of wokeness, let's say. Good, yes. Bad, no. And there's the ultimate question, am I a good person? If you adhere to wokeness, that answer must be yes. Otherwise, you're not woke. It is the 100% through line. And when you apply the good yes, bad no logic on this, you get the rest of your reality. And I do mean that quite literally. Different video. Uh, everything, everything comes from this. Uh, everything must fit this proposition. Uh, for instance, are you a good person? Good, yes. Racists are bad. Are you a racist? Ooh, bad, no. And there you go. You just literally live your life answering those questions. When you fill out all of the questions, you are the supreme wokeness master or something. I don't know. Um, but the point is you know this is wokeness. Uh, religion doesn't have that. Religion has Christianity has the Bible. Um, that will tell you how to be a good person. That will tell you how to live your life. That will tell you if you act like this in situation that uh this is what you can expect as an outcome. If you want this outcome, you can backtrack, figure out the way to act like that, and then come up with some reasons why it makes sense. Um, that's essentially what the Bible does. And also, it has a very important aspect, which is the fair judge, the ultimate arbiter. Um, and so ultimately, that religion is able to just get rid of these questions. They just disappear. Uh, you live your life by the book. You do what you can. You try and do what God wants you to do because that's what you're supposed to do. And bada boo, bada bing, you die, you get judged, and there you go. It's not even up to you. God will decide. Uh, and I think that this is probably the most, or certainly an important, let's say, psychological construct. Um, you can lie to yourself, but you can't lie to God. The big man always knows. So you better find out when you're lying to yourself or risk damnation. Um, yeah, otherwise you don't have it's otherwise it's too easy to just lie to yourself and say that you believe X, Y, or Z or X, Y, or Z is real or any of that nonsense. It also leads into a far more wide-reaching problem because it negates you having to question your neighbor. Um, you see them in church, and again, it's not even your decision. God judges them. You don't judge them. How could you? Um, so having this sort of non-human third-party arbiter negates all of the problems that having a human third-party arbiter instills. And that's very important for civilization. And Andrew Wilson pointed this out. Ultimately, the woke issue of why other people should do things completely falls apart. They end up circling around the tautology of bad things are bad. But that in and of itself is not a justification to not do those things. Whereas with religion, God commanded it. So there you go. And it's he does a much better job. It's very logically consistent argument that you just have to accept it for what it is. And again, this is all under the umbrella of human behavior, where you have this omnipresent third party society. Uh, and so I think that religion just kind of acts. It's just a natural consequence of how do you get people to live together and not, be productive about it. Um, and so that's essentially what we Dr. Peterson says. The Bible is just a documentation of human nature through stories, um, which is just such an interesting way to think about it. Uh, and again, it's you could almost say that it's a requirement for civilization, uh, because we're dealing with human behavior. So it's just a very important uh, fact that I feel gets ignored a lot. Um, I think that there's just too many shortcomings to wokeness. I mean, it's based off of two things: a good yes, bad no logical structure, and the presupposition that you are a good person, and that is a fact. Um, and it has relatively cheap answers that seem to just always be changing, and no one knows what they mean, and it's just it's just a lot of nonsense, quite frankly. And you run into the problem of it's just mob rule. I mean, I remember when it was LGB rights, and now they have tripled the number of letters, maybe even more. I stopped counting. Who even knows at this point? And so, like, if you have a tweet from 2015 that is judged in the most harsh light possible by today's standards, that has consequences. Like that will not produce good results. It just won't. Uh, and it because of this constant human interaction on a systematic scale, um, that's a very precarious situation. Uh, and so if you don't have something that instills trust in others, then you've got a problem. And I don't think wokeness instills trust in others because it can't answer the two most existential questions to all of civilization, which is how do you be a good person, and how do you know what to do, and how do you know what the other person's going to do? Like, if you don't have an answer to those two questions, you don't have a civilization. And I like having a civilization. How else am I going to charge my phone? Like, let's be real here. And Nietzsche warned us about all of this. God is dead. We are the murderer of all murderers is not a happy statement. This is not a good thing. This. See, I fell into the trap of good versus bad. It's very easy to do. I mean, we don't want to be the murderer of all murderers. This is a suboptimal state, let's say. And so, to be fair, Nietzsche then also said, if you're ever gonna get as close to calling Nietzsche an optimist, it's, yeah, we killed God. Yes, this is a calamity for everybody. Yes, we have undermined the fundamental barrier between meaning and non-meaning, and we opened the door to nihilism, which is total psychological destruction. But hey, I mean, there's got to be something good we can come out of this. So It just seems to me that this is not the answer. Um, and also, like, religion is the Bible specifically is in some ways a culmination of the entire of human thinking, going back to the first dude who looked up the stars and pondered. Um, so this level of long term collective analysis, and I just feel like it isn't. You're going to miss a lot if you ignore it, and you could miss something so important as to all of civilization relies upon it. And if you don't know that, you could have bad outcomes. Uh, and so we have these ancient stories, especially at the beginning of the Bible, the most ancient, the first stories of all the stories. And the first of those stories is Adam and Eve in the garden. And what happens? Things are going great. They're vibing. Literally dicks out, no problem. They hadn't even conceived of it being a problem. There were no problems. And then, bam, they ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. That is such a specific thing that it has to be conveying something very specific. And I'm sure that you could spend hours specifying it. But from an overall level, this is the first thing that humans did that fucked everything up, just of all time. Everything that is bad that has happened in human history started with this. That is the conclusion of tens of thousands of years of human thinkers. And that is just an insanely profound realization that, are we just going to sweep that under the rug? Like, hello? So, in conclusion, we are all faced as humans with the same existential question: how do I act? What do I do? And then this leads to the next question: when there are humans around, other humans around, how are they going to act? Because that absolutely influences question one: how do I act? So, if you cannot answer the first, actually, this might be the other way around. If you can't answer the second, can you answer the first? If you don't have any answers, you can't answer shit regardless. And certainly you need an answer to both to have a civilization. This is just foundational. And in my estimation, wokeness, unable to provide adequate answers, whereas religion, which has been the dominant cultural mechanism, societal, civilizational mechanism, probably since the beginning of relatively large cities. I mean, no contest. So, that has been it for ya boy. I am Jimmy B. This has been me rambling on philosophy. Thank you.